In this video, I want to talk a little bit about alignment. Okay, it's the thing that you can pick up on and you can coach quite easily with the individuals, and makes things look nice and neat too. Okay, first order of business. Let's talk about the half kneel position. Okay. By definition, the half kneel is 90 degrees, okay? Plus or minus a couple, okay? But look at nice squared off angles there. Well, that's not all. And from the side, right, you can't really tell, okay? This still looks relatively okay. But if I am to try to maintain that as I rotate, okay, you can see that's clearly off. A lot of people do stuff like this, or things are demonstrated, maybe not quite this bad, but line up, straight, okay? Train tracks, right? Always think about train tracks when you're doing lunges, half kneeling, okay? Everything's on those train tracks. You don't need to be on a single track, okay? If we're doing something fun and special and trying to do this crazy balance, yeah, cool, do it. Otherwise, feel free to use the lines, okay? And the tile is here. Foot's up against this line, knee's gonna be right about in the middle of it, okay? This alignment is important so that you're working the proper stabilization muscles throughout the hip and everything. If you're here, okay, this guy's kind of slanting out and this knee is kind of pushed in. Let's measure with the box, right? My base of support is wider than one of these tiles here, so that was what, 2 feet or so, okay? If in proper alignment, it's maybe a foot wide, okay? If that. Generally, it's about hips, okay? This leg shoots straight forward, whoop. This leg shoots straight down, okay? Toe is tucked, ideally, okay? You can push back against that, down and forward into this one, and that creates what I call a hip lock. So then if you're, pressing from there, you're gonna be nice and stable. If you're just kind of gently holding it, you get a little bit of hula dancer hips, okay? And we don't want that. Lunges are very similar to the half kneel. They're just kind of the dynamic version, right? So with that, again, is that alignment. Especially if people are having trouble balancing on it, have them put a foot, at the edge of a box or, and whatever. That doesn't matter. I'm using the lines on the floor because they're helpful. But anyways, so it's there, hip distance apart is the other foot. From there, that goes straight back, okay? It doesn't, I'm gonna get a line with the camera here. It doesn't, whoop, go back. Unless we're doing curtsy lunges, then that goes, all the way over there. But I'll move on. Okay, keeping it hip distance is going to allow you to stabilize through everything at that point. Okay, if some people in particular cases would like to work on balance, yeah, have them narrow up, okay? Have them step on a line and get their back foot on that line as they go down, okay? That's challenging, but something easy to kind of coach, right? Make things look nice, okay? Nice right angles, nice straight lines, and that's gonna be helpful, okay? Also as demo, when you demo something to members, make sure that's what it looks like. Okay, if you demo a sloppy setup, that's what they're gonna set up as, okay? So demo it right, make sure that people do it right, and it gives you something to coach too. Other alignment, planks, okay? In particularly, let's talk about maybe some reaches where you take away a point of stability, okay? If you are on the ground, and make sure you get my whole body in this view, okay, and your feet are very close together, or even touching, let's say, and you do a plank, it's quite difficult, yes, that's great, but to what degree, right? It's easy just to shift your weight over kind of to the side. If you can keep super square, that's pretty good, right? But most of our people aren't going to be able to do that well at all. So they're going to go to from one side to the other, okay? The feet are what kind of give that that movement a more stability or less, okay? The closer they are, the harder it is to stabilize. The wider they are, the easier it is to stabilize. Now, we don't always want to progress people into that narrow stance because it's not necessarily better just to have a harder time stabilizing. What you want to do is have them have a better time engaging. So if you're here and your feet 2 feet apart, or say, body's nice and flat, I can flex my quads, glutes, core, lats. I reach that arm forward, nothing moves here, okay? I'm not shifting my weight, I am holding myself together because I can engage things more. And that's what we want people to be doing, okay? Other things, so plank reaches, let's go like TRX, okay? Rows. Normal rows, okay? Feet right together. Okay, whatever. You got 2 hands on, everything's not a big deal. A little bit wider. Does it feel different? Not enough, okay? But we got a single arm row, okay? You teach people to have their feet together, it's gonna be a little bit harder right here. As long as you can get your lat, your pec, and that shoulder kind of engaged, you can pull from there. Might be a little bit harder on the arm. But again, what's it accomplishing? Not a whole lot. So what we want is, again, a wider base of support so that they can engage core, hips, quads, okay? Coming down here and then go. There's not going to be any rotation, or it's going to be easier to stop it if you're wider, okay? If you're pushing people to have a close stance all the time, it's going to be easier to not engage everything. Even if you can engage everything there, it doesn't engage as well. So just because the stabilization or the balance or whatnot is more difficult, it does not necessarily mean that that's better and that's what you should strive for, okay? We're looking for activation and engagement, okay? If you can get crazy engagement and you're super narrow and super stable, go for it. That's 1% of our members, maybe, okay? Beyond that, make it accessible, allow people to kind of widen up and feel the engagement, coach that engagement, right? Especially your glutes, especially the quads and that core, right? I mean, quads, glutes, core. I say it time and time again, but if all that's engaged, then the midsection is stabilized, okay? Top of that, lats and grip, okay? But I digress. I'm trying to think if there's anything else along those lines. I think that's about it, right? You can think maybe if you're doing, okay, imaginary bench here. If you're doing rows, right? Okay, maybe you can be wider. If you're all the way back and your feet are together, okay, you know. But there's a strong, solid base of support so that people can engage better while they are doing whatever movement it is that they are doing, okay? More engagement is more better in it.